So, are dragons real, or is that just epic bedtime story energy? Today I'm going headfirst into the myth versus science of dragons. No CGI, just facts that hit harder than dragonfire. First, the myth. Across China, Europe, the Middle East, people described huge, scaled creatures with wings, claws, and attitude. Why did so many people tell the same kind of story? Here's the twist. Bones. Imagine finding a massive fossilized skull poking out of a hillside, with teeth longer than your fingers. There's legit evidence this happened. Ancient miners and travelers stumbled on dinosaur fossils. In parts of China, dragon bones were ground into medicine for centuries. Turns out, those were often dinosaur bones. Pterosaur fossils, giant flying reptiles, could easily fuel a flying dragon legend. Now, the science reality check. Are there animals that feel dragon-adjacent? Absolutely. Komodo dragons. Venom-laced bite. Serrated teeth. 8-foot lizards that can smell you from miles away. Draco. The gliding lizard that sails between trees on wing-like ribs. Horned lizards shoot blood from their eyes. Bombardier beetles literally blast boiling chemical fire to defend themselves. Nature is way more metal than fiction half the time. So, could a classic, fire-breathing, castle-roasting dragon exist? Let's test it. Fire first. For a living thing to spit flames, it needs fuel, ignition, and a way not to cook its own face. Bombardier beetles mix chemicals in a reinforced chamber. Boom! Hot spray. A big animal might scale that up with methane or hydrocarbons from its gut, plus a spark, maybe piezoelectric crystals like in a lighter. Cool idea, but the engineering is brutal. You'd need heat-proof tissues, precise chemical mixing, storage without explosions, and constant fuel. Not impossible in theory, but wildly unlikely in practice. Flight next. The physics are savage. Birds and bats fly because they're very light, with huge wings relative to their bodies, and insanely efficient lungs. A beefy, armored lizard with giant wings would face a lift problem. To stay airborne, it needs even bigger wing area and insane power. Pterosaurs pulled it off. Some had 10-meter wingspans, but they were super lightweight, with hollow bones, and wing membranes, not thick scales. A Smaug-sized unit roaming the skies. Gravity's like, no. What about the rest? Scales. Treasure hoards. Poison breath. Scales are easy. Tons of reptiles. Hoarding shiny stuff. That's a human story about greed. Poison breath. Vipers already do toxicity, just not airborne. Here's my favorite part. Dragons aren't real in the medieval fire strafe the castle sense, but the idea of dragons is real science fuel. Myths pushed people to explain fossils, to study flight, to ask wild what-ifs. The more we looked, the more we found creatures that scratch that dragon itch. Komodos, pterosaurs, gliding lizards, beetles with chemical weapons. So are dragons real? Not as sky tyrants with flamethrower mouths, but as a mashup of nature's coolest tricks and humanity's imagination? Absolutely. And honestly, that's even better because it means the world still has mysteries worth chasing. If you want a part 2 where I try to build a safe mini fire breath rig inspired by beetles, using only stock gear and lab safety, tell me in the comments. I'll bring the extinguisher. See you next time.